Welcome to episode 2 of Evermore Digital's Vendor Spotlight, bringing you the very best in insurance technology. I decided to keep the swag levels high for this one. I'm going to keep the suit on and maintain it, albeit it is a board short party on the bottom. But strap yourselves in, because straight out of a Guy Ritchie movie, we have lock, stock and two smoking Salesforce integrations, Peter Goodman of Aventus. Peter, welcome.
That's an intro. I've never heard that one before.
There you go. There you go.
I'll take that, by the way. I'll take that.
Think of it as a Jason Statham thing.
Yeah. Well, we've got one thing in common, right?
So tell us a bit about yourself and your journey into insurance.
Yeah, so I mean, the Salesforce reference, I guess, if you go back in 2012, I owned the world's largest Facebook ads API. So we had the technology platform, and I sold it to an American company called Buddy Media. We rolled out products together, and then we sold that to Salesforce for about $800 million in the August of 2012. So it was a pretty good August. 2012 was a pretty good year. Child and exit.
Like a very good year.
Yeah, child and exit. It was kind of a win-win. And then from there, to be honest, got obsessed with data not being used in insurance to sell it, engage with customers, lack of customer centricity, and stupidly started a business again, really, I guess. And then decided to jump into a new area from marketing technologies into insurance technologies, thinking I could make a dent. Started an insurance company to figure out what the problems were, built a technology in that insurance company, and we're in a Aventus platform today. So yeah, that's kind of the shortest, longest five or 6 years of my life, to be honest. But thoroughly loving the industry, I have to say.
Great. So we're going to have 5 killer questions on your InsurTech offering, followed by a randomly generated quick-fire round. So without further ado, let's get this party started.
Let's go.
In 100 words or less, what do you do and how does it help brokers and MGAs?
So what we provide is we provide digital democratization to people that can't necessarily afford huge digital transformation projects. And by that, we mean that we enable great use of data for distribution, upselling, cross-selling, and customer engagement to give people kind of the experience they really expect in this day and age from an insurance company at all sizes, because it shouldn't really matter big or small.
Great answer. And what's the element of your offering of which you're most proud?
First of all, I think the approach, right, which is effectively an API approach to this business. We've created an ecosystem play, which I think really is the strength of what we do, because it enables everyone to get the best-in-class technologies ongoing. I think a lot of companies, what they buy on day one, they've still got on year 5, which is an evolution game. And technology has always been an evolution game for me. What you start with is not what you end with. And by having the API structures, it enables you to replace, upgrade things without having to rip and replace everything. And I think that's something that I think we've really nailed with what we do.
Great. And what's the biggest success story you've had within your business?
I think surviving lockdown, to be honest, is a big enough one. But in all honesty, from a customer perspective, we delivered an Australian deployment throughout lockdown for a company called Stellar, which has been a really good insight into the team that we have, but also the ambition that insurers can have and can be delivered on Aventus. And you're talking a truly customer-centric business there, not a policy-centric business. And we're super proud to have been their partners in that launch. And
what does your typical or ideal customer look like in terms of profile?
I mean, to be honest, we've attracted two very, very sort of similar kinds, if I'm honest. We've attracted a lot of startups, people that want to get ideas off the ground but don't have the £4 million it cost us to build the platform, and also doesn't, want to get stuff live, tested, proved. So startups is definitely something that have been attractive for us, but also the smaller end niche MGAs and niche brokers, I think really are where we're finding our biggest hit points, because, again, going back to my first point, we're enabling them to digitally transform, but not costing them the earth to do so they can afford to do it.
And question 5 is that horrible interview question that no one likes to answer. What's the biggest weakness of your offering?
The weakness is a tough one, right? It's a great question, because I think it's one that people should be thinking about, because if you're not thinking about the answer to that, then you're kind of lost already, I think. That if I was to answer it, I think that, we're not as far along the journey of self-service as I would like to be, but we're on that journey. Now, technology evolves at an incredible pace, right? And you can't always have everything that everyone wants, but the ability with a platform that is configured in the way that ours is, when people need stuff, you can build it. So it's not about having to start everything from scratch again. But self-serve for me is something that's coming along at a great pace, but being a leader of any business, you want everything yesterday, right?
Absolutely. I like that. That's a really good, honest answer. So thank you for that. And we're going to move on to the quick fire rounds. It's a bit of fun. 10 questions, instinctive answers. Don't want any explanations. Peter, are you ready to rock and roll?
Always ready for a little quick fire quiz.
Well, we've had plenty of quizzes during lockdown, so
exactly.
I'll try and keep this
drunk
one
on this one, but I'm not drunk on this one, so it's a good starting point.
Fantastic. Right. So, best song of all time.
Live Forever.
Dream board member.
Sheryl Sandberg.
Football or rugby?
Football.
New Moon or the Lamb?
Definitely both, because I've been in a lot of them and I'm not from that world.
Favourite holiday destination?
Portugal. Just been there too much.
Beatles or the Stones?
The Stones.
Offshore or onshore dev?
Onshore.
Beer or wine?
Beer.
InsurTech with or without an E?
Without.
And is it Pete or Peter?
It's whatever you'd like. If you're my mother, you call me Peter. If you're anyone else, they generally call me Pete. So it's entirely up to you.
Well, Peter, thank you for coming on the show and telling us all about Aventus. Make sure to visit aventusplatform.com for a live demo today, or connect with Peter directly on LinkedIn. If you enjoyed today's vendor spotlight, make sure to subscribe to evermoredigital.com as we bring you the latest in insurance news, views and reviews. Please add your comments, like, subscribe to the channel, share to your boss, share to your mother-in-law, share with your bin man. But for now, sadly, it's goodbye from Peter at Aventus, and it's goodbye from me.